Hey, what's good, Evan? I'm your guide Q, and welcome back to some Nice Guy Stories. I decided to check out the r/niceguys stories subreddit again, and there was some decent stuff on there, so let's get into it. Also, just want to mention real quick, I changed a little bit with my audio setup. Let me know if it sounds better than other recent videos, or if it's worse. Your feedback is important. I talked to this guy for a couple hours, and now he wants to move across the country to be together. In other words, a lesson in being too forgiving with men being weird. A few days ago, I got a friend request from this guy. I didn't immediately recognize him, but we had a few mutuals, and I saw that he was Church of Latter-day Saints, aka Mormon, so I figured the worst that would happen is that I'd get a message about joining the church or whatever. He messaged me later that night to ask how I was doing. I responded, we had a relatively superficial and casual conversation, and nothing alarming goes on. He brings up school and tells me that he's wanting to transfer to a BYU school in my state, and I was like, cool, I know basically nothing about that school other than Mormons. And he tells me, haha, that's fine, I just figured it'd be nice to know someone in that area, and yeah, I agreed since he'd be moving almost halfway across the country if he transferred. The conversation ended there for the night. Then the next day I get a good morning message from him, and again we just have a casual conversation of, hey, how are ya? I'm doing good, you, same, and that's about it. This is where it gets weird. He asked if I had any plans for the day, and he told me he had plans to see a friend. Then he told me not to worry, he wasn't seeing a girl. I was like, okay, weird, but figured it was just a one-off comment. It wasn't. He continued to send me similar reassurances throughout the day. He let me know he was going to the store, but don't worry, he was with family. I didn't get a text from him for a few hours, and he tells me he took a road trip, but don't worry, he was with his guy friends. He sends me a good night message and then tells me he's spending the night at a friend's, but don't worry, there are no girls around. Then he told me he was happy God put me in his life. Mind you, this is literally after the second time we ever talked. I told him that I wasn't worried because there was nothing to be worried about, and I reminded him that this was literally the second time we've ever had a conversation with each other. I thought that would get him to back off, but then Valentine's Day comes around and he asks me how it went for me, and then says he wishes we could have been together in my state. I told him point blank that I wasn't looking for a relationship, and he says, that's fine, let's just remain faithful and honest and we'll see where things go. Bleh. I stopped responding after that. Anyway, all this happened over the span of like 3 days. I knew Mormons had a tendency to move fast, but damn dude, LMFAO. So, by the end of this story, I'm just wondering, like, how did these guys start talking again? And, like, he added her through random mutual friends on Facebook. Like, this is just entirely too much. Like, I've also heard that Mormons move pretty quick. Like, there's this saying that, like, once they get into college, it's like a ring by spring. You're gonna be engaged in your freshman year. Like, stuff like that happens, but this is just off the charts, even by that standard. Like, this dude needs to seriously chill, because he doesn't sound like a horrible person. Like, he's not sending anything evil or, like, genuinely creepy, just way overbearing and moving way too fast. Biker Dad School's Nice Guy. Not sure if this belongs here, but buckle up, Reddit and or r/viewers, you're in for a good one. So, there's me, 23 female, and my married coworker, 29 male. I've been at my job for a few weeks when we got a new assistant manager. Admittedly, he is cute and we got along great, and I do have to admit, I was contemplating flirting and asking him out until I found out he was married and had 2 kids. Fair enough, he was a pretty cool guy in a tiny town, so of course he was taken. No problem, we could just be work friends, right? Apparently not. A couple weeks into working with him, he starts telling me stuff about his personal life, claiming that he was in an abusive relationship. Okay, weird to bring up to me, but okay. Next time I saw him, I brought up a few tools that might be able to help him out. Thought that would be the end of it, right? Apparently not. Over the next several weeks, he keeps coming to me as a confidant, even though I made it clear I wasn't comfortable with that. He even tried to reach out to me through social media, even though I told him not to, so I blocked him. But it eventually reared its head when he decided to ask me out. He has not left his wife. Even if he did, he needs to heal from the supposed abuse first, so I told him no. And he kept trying to apologize for making me uncomfortable, so I told him to drop it. And he did for a bit. He continued to complain about his home life. Oh well, I got a new job anyways, so I would be leaving in a couple weeks. Yet somehow he thought leaving was about him and told me that he would leave if I wanted to stay. I told him that it wasn't about him and to drop it. He continued his usual thing. Oh well, I just half listened to him at that point. And then his last-ditch attempt before I left happened. The last night I was working there, he told me he was divorcing his wife. Okay, I shrug it off. It's not like I was going to date him if he left her anyways. Night went along okay, and she came by with his dinner in the middle of our shift. Weird, but okay, whatever. She was in and out. As soon as she was out the door, he came running to me and let out his biggest lie yet. He claimed that his wife told him she wanted me dead. Of course, that scared the crap out of me. Now, through this whole thing, I've been keeping my parents informed because they are who I relied on to know what to do during this whole thing. They are definitely my guiding light, and as soon as these lies poured out that day, I relayed it via text to my folks. And that night, my dad came to get me after we did closing duties. Of course, my dad comes roaring in on his motorcycle and waits for us to be done. At this point, my coworker was already scared, so scared that he skipped paperwork in order to hurry up and leave. When we finally came outside to lock the doors behind us, my dad, in full biker leathers, came around to my coworker's wife's car. Then the wife followed my dad around. The coworker tried to avoid making eye contact with my dad. He was shrinking in fear. My dad had a man-to-man talk with the guy. He didn't hurt him, just scared the crap out of him. He may have wet himself a little. Meanwhile, the wife was apologizing to me about her husband's behavior. She genuinely felt bad about her husband. It was a huge relief to know that she didn't blame me, though I do feel bad for her. Anyways, after my dad and I were done talking to the two, the wife started screaming at her husband and told him to walk home. Dad and I hopped onto the motorcycle and rode home, the two of them still screaming at each other. So, I mean, this story ends with a crazy climax. Like, it's kind of far-fetched, the dad coming in and, like, intimidating the dude in the biker gear, but I've heard of that sort of thing happening before, and this type of guy definitely exists out there. This type of person in general, somebody who's, like, miserable in their current relationship, they look to somebody else to, like, at first just dump all of their problems on, but then eventually might plan to, like, have a relationship with or run away with. It's just kind of like a scummy way to go about things, especially since if this wife and him are still arguing at the end of all of this, then like maybe they weren't as close to divorce originally as he claimed. It's just entirely a mess, and this type of person should definitely be avoided at all costs. Nice guy wants to know why I'm not still interested in him after he stood me up. There was this guy who I thought was genuinely nice. Dumb, clueless, but nice. We had reconnected after a couple months of being busy and not talking. He did whine a little bit about that, but I decided to give him another chance because we all have our annoying flaws, right? So anyway, we decided to go out on a Tuesday night. We were gonna go downtown, he was going to pick me up, I trusted him enough to do this. He never specified on a time, but that was cool, I was flexible that night. So, Tuesday comes, I'm excited. I shaved, got my best outfit, did my hair, put on some makeup, etc. I texted him, hey, what time are you coming to get me? Left on red. An hour later, hey, are you okay? Left on red. 2 hours later, are we still up for tonight? Left on red. Great. Almost a week later, he texts me at 2 a.m. Hey, I say hello back. What happened? I thought we were supposed to hang out or something. Unhappy side-eye emoji. I said, yeah, I thought so too. He said, so? I told him, well, I messaged you like 3 times and you left me on red each time. What did he say? He said, oh yeah, I wasn't feeling very social that day. Wanna go out next Tuesday? I told him that I was gonna pass. He left me on red. Almost immediately, he started posting on his Snapchat story about how he's sick of being put on the back burner after doing everything he could to be nice. He tries so hard, but nobody wants to give him a chance. Right, I unadded him on Snapchat. Then he messaged me on Instagram and said, why do you unadd me? I told him that I didn't like what he posted and didn't really want to talk to him anymore. He said, you can't handle the truth, huh? It was my turn to leave him on red. Almost a month later, he still messages me every now and then with, hey/what's up. Never again. So yeah, this is one of my least favorite types of individuals. Like, I totally get feeling not very social, but if I make plans with somebody and then I'm having a really, really bad day, I'll like, let them know so they're not like waiting for me to show up at their home, like standing by the window thinking I'm gonna pull into their driveway any second. Like, and even then, if he had like been apologetic about it and like explained in some way, maybe it would have made a little bit more sense. But no, he just wants this all to be okay, and it's not okay. It's not acceptable behavior from like, even a friend. So yeah, if you like Nice Guys stuff, top right corner of the screen, a card's gonna pop up. You can click on that for a playlist of a bunch of the junk. And anyway, I kind of had to scrape the bottom of the barrel of this subreddit to get these stories, so we might not have another one coming in the future, but I don't know, maybe I'll even look into the deep, dark submissions email to see if I can find some stories. We will see. If you really want it, I will deliver it for you. But anyway, I'd like to give a major shout out to Hannah, Matthew Kendall, Caitlin, Beth the Dork, Ashton Jacobson, June, Rocket Fist, Rick, Alicia, Kennedy DeSilvis, Tapey, Hyper Ninja Child, Jared D, Regrettable Stitches, Allison B, Kaya Bay, Brittany, and Catco, as well as everyone else you see on your screen for being top tier channel members. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you all super soon. Skate on to the best of your abilities, drink a sufficient amount of water, drink a sufficient amount of water. Yeah, peace out, Cub Scouts.